After 4 days since the start of the election, on the morning of Saturday, November 7th, Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential election by all major reputable news sources. This news comes despite President Trump's repeated claims that the election is being stolen by the Democrats, claims which experts have agreed across the board lack evidence.
And this is a case where they're trying to steal an election. They're trying to rig an election, and we can't let that happen. Detroit and Philadelphia, known as two of the most corrupt political places anywhere in our country, easily cannot be responsible for engineering the outcome of a presidential race, a very important presidential race.
On Saturday, the White House reiterated the sentiment with a statement saying that Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner, and that, quote, beginning Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. I spoke to Will Donahue of LMU College Republicans about whether he agrees with President Trump's allegations. Do you accept Biden as the legitimate winner of the 2020 election?
I would say, if all of these court battles get resolved and the findings are that, that there really was no widespread fraud and Biden is the winner, I think Donald Trump should concede.
That same evening, President-elect Biden addressed the nation in a speech emphasizing unity, not division.
I said at the outset, I wanted this campaign to represent and look like America. We've done that. Now that's what I want the administration to look like and act like. For all those of you who voted for President Trump, I understand the disappointment tonight. I've lost a couple times myself, but now let's give each other a chance. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies, they are Americans.
Anish Mohanty from LMU's College Democrats hesitated to fully embrace Biden's message. Do you believe that Biden should collaborate with Trump supporters like he emphasized in his speech?
So I think there's a fine line between bipartisanship and unity and things like that versus compromising on necessity. For example, when it comes to issues of racial justice or climate change, there is no compromise.
Mohanty believes that Biden should move more towards the left to accommodate the demands of the more progressive branch of the Democratic Party.
My biggest hopes for the Democratic Party is that it moves more to the left and addresses the needs of the working class and marginalized communities that actually, gave them this win and helped them gain traction in so many of these swing states. One of my biggest fears is that if they don't aggressively combat climate change or healthcare, there will be consequences not just for their electoral gains, but also for the health of the public and for, the fate of the planet.
For Donahue, however, the leftmost wing of the Democratic Party is actually what drew him to the Republican Party in the first place. Do you see a presidency where Republicans and Trump supporters are able to work together with Biden supporters?
Unfortunately, no, I don't. I think in recent years, the Democrat Party has abandoned some of the liberal principles that I used to support. I used to be a Democrat. And they've moved more towards a progressive narrative. Some of those narratives are, pro-abortion, anti-Second Amendment, bigger government, more taxes, more dependencies, and that is the complete opposite of what the Republican Party stands for. In years past, the differences between the Republican and Democrat Party were minuscule, and I think there was a lot more room for bipartisanship. But with the parties becoming so polarized, I really can't see how Republicans and Democrats are going to be able to work together to put through bills.
Both Mohanty and Donahue's views for the next 4 years stands in direct contrast to the vision that Biden presented on Saturday. a vision of a future where left and right are able to come together as Americans. I asked Mohanty how the 70 million people who voted for Trump fit into his image of America. Trump this year got the second most votes that any presidential candidate has gotten in the history of the country, following, of course, Joe Biden. How do you win them over? Because they're Americans too.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, 70 million people did vote for Donald Trump, and I think that there is a few key reasons for that. But the first thing is that yes, we definitely should address what their issues, and I think that the reason that there is such a high percentage of people, because so many people thought that this election was going to be a landslide for Biden, and that would kind of create a mandate that, from a historic perspective, that like everyone genuinely thought, okay, Donald Trump is a disgrace, and we are going to like deny him a second term because this is the worst thing that's ever happened in this country. That did not happen. It was a razor-thin margin, and a few days ago, a lot of us thought that Trump might have actually won a second term. So I think that one of the biggest reasons for that actually is the information divide in the country. Because at the end of the day, you have so many people getting essentially in different echo chambers. I mean, it's kind of like the Truman Show where it's an entire artificial reality, except you have 300 million of those because you have Facebook and Twitter creating algorithms that essentially give each person their own reality. And for a lot of the right wing, social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter are radicalizing them through fake news, false stories.
The interesting thing is that Donahue completely agrees with Mohanty that the country is too divided, too polarized.
I think the polarization in this country is like a cancer, to be honest, and it's metastasized into every facet of our being, from social media to education, the media, mainstream rather, sports. God, I hate politics and sports. I just watch a football game, the violence I see on the streets is unacceptable. I would say on both sides.
In this regard, Mohanty believes that Biden might actually provide some semblance of healing and unity.
Biden will bring back a lot of normalcy in the country, and while on one hand that's going to mean a lot of people treating it as, okay, I guess we can go back to brunch, while a lot of marginalized communities are still struggling, I think that will decrease the overall divisiveness of the country, which will make every problem a lot easier to deal with, and that'll make bipartisanship a little bit easier.
With college Republicans, Donahue is actually trying to encourage those bipartisan conversations on LMU's campus.
But the goal of college Republicans has never been to piss off our political opponents. We want to have meaningful conversations. We have liberals in our group that come and talk with us all the time. And we are able to peacefully disagree. We all become smarter because of it. And that is something that we don't really see on campus. Like I said, I've been spit on. We've had our flyers torn down, our tables destroyed. That's just not productive for a healthy university environment. I don't think college Republicans has ever done anything during my administration, at least, because I restarted the club to become politically divisive. We've only wanted to have good conversations, and that's really the direction that we need to be moving in.
I reached out to the Young Democratic Socialists of America Club at LMU, but one of the founders, Jonathan Procopio, declined to comment. Instead, he linked an op-ed I wrote defending a Republican ASLMU senator and stated that the club does not wish to respond to fascist sympathizers.
Only time will tell if Biden will be able to heal the divisions in our nation, or if growing polarization and hatred will continue to tear the country apart. Veronica BP, Election 2020, Los Angeles.